good morning, and welcome to this special Island Stat Sports Talk. I'm your host, Harold Beeston. Joining me is none other than Dashun Cooper, Coach Coop,
Hey.
as we all know him as. I wanted to bring you on it and give a quick update because your position at Queens Park Rangers has changed just a bit slightly with your role as goalkeeping coach. Can you just give us a slight update on what these rules, what your new improved rules will be around the club?
Sure, yeah. So the last 2 seasons I've been with the schoolboys, so like effectively mainly dealing with the goalkeepers in nines to under 16s, while assisting the 18s and the 21s as well. But now this season I've taken on another role as the women's lead. So I'll be responsible for the women's first team and the women's development squad goalkeepers also, while at the same time assisting the girls program as well. So we've hired someone to take on the girls goalkeeper as well, so to handle the 10s, 12s, 14s, and 16s, and I'll kind of like manage him or help him with those ages, and while obviously having the main responsibility with the first team and with the women reserves. So.
Yeah. No, goalkeeping is goalkeeping. Football is football. The goalposts are the same size. Everything's the same.
Yeah.
But taking in information, do you find it's easier to get your message across with the women than you do sometimes the men?
I think it's about the same. I think depending on the individual, and I think how the message is relayed.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the same point that I would make to an under 15 that I'll make to Ken is in our first team, they may view it differently, or they may view it the same way and they may ask the same questions, or they might just go right away. So I think like now that I've been on like both sides, and obviously like back home and I was with both the boys and with the girls and men and women's national teams.
Mm-hmm.
I think it really depends on that person, but I think it pretty much stays the same more or less. And obviously, depending on certain scenarios during the game, and obviously during the season as well.
Okay. Now, earlier this year, you started to embark on getting your UEFA license, your step up. How is that going? Because it's a process that you have to go through, almost like an entire year. But how are you managing through, I guess, quarter by quarter?
Yeah, I think it's listen, like this license that I'm doing now is pretty much the number one reason why I left. So to be honest is crazy, and I'm definitely grateful. It's hard work, so it's hard work, but I think it's right up my alley because it isn't much that I haven't already seen or done. So for example, so obviously we have to attend 4 blocks throughout the year, and I've just recently completed my block, which majority was on the physical attributes and the psychological attributes. So what would a preseason look like? What type of energy systems do you want to target, and things like that. And not much of it. Not to say that none of it's new to me, but it isn't new to me, luckily. So while it's a lot of coursework and while it's a lot of information to take in, it's not necessarily too much for me. No.
Right.
But I think but I think the main challenge is doing it all during the season. And I think it's so much that the season presents, and it's so much that you have to do during the season. And then you throw in 2 assignments, 3 assignments in there. Like you had to hold micro day, which is basically my tutor and my colleagues in my micro group would have to come to the training ground to watch me do a session.
Uh-huh.
And I would have to do the same for them. So in the midst of going up to Scotland 4 times a year, I then have to go, like the day I get to see Logan at Hibs, because one of my colleagues is the goalie coach at Hibs. He also does Hibs women as well. So
Okay.
I got to see Logan, and yeah, so like all the traveling, and then you come back and you're trying to get things done for the club, and then you're in preseason with the women's first team, so you're getting ready for the week and you're getting ready for the end. And I think that's the challenge. It's a very healthy challenge, but it's a challenge. So I think that's the biggest thing for me this year.
Yeah.
With the new license.
When you're looking at being around football all the time, because we have to realize that in Bermuda, it's recreational, it's amateur, it's part time. Changing your lifestyle to understand that you are committed to this full time. How has that been throughout the few years that you've been in this role of doing this on a regular basis, kind of thing?
I think it wasn't too much change for me from when I left, because I think the hours that I put in back home were very similar to the hours that I'm putting in now. So I think, like, case in point, if it was a summer break, or if it was Easter break and I had a camp going during the week,
Mm-hmm.
finishing camp, or finishing the day at 5 or even 6, um, I have to be back at the field for 8, or even like in the days when I was playing, that was nuts. So like, might have morning sessions, and then you'd have sessions with the club, and then I have to go to Crossroads to train, and then I have to be up the next morning 7, 8, 9 o'clock to
Mm-hmm.
do some bits. So I think it's very similar, and I think the years, and especially when I first started the goalkeeper academy, um I think kind of set me up for this, if I'm honest. And then I'll, like, the travel from when I was with the national team. So us having to Haiti on a Tuesday, and then the next day we're training, and then the Thursday we play a game, and then obviously you got a day off game, and then you have
Mm-hmm.
to travel back home right away. So I think very similar. Like another example, in the we had a youth cup game away to Wolves my first season here, and it went into time, and it went into penalties, and this was in Wolves, and the game didn't start till about, I don't know, let's say like 10:30, or maybe like close to like 11.
Right.
Effectively, we didn't get back to training until about 1, and then I had to be back at the training ground the following day, 10 o'clock, for the 21s. So luckily the hours that I put in back home kind of helped me deal with the hours that I'm putting in now, and especially when I was back in Reading, dealing with the first team there as well, with Hartley. Um,
Mm-hmm.
because again, the session would start at 7:30. We would finish at 9:15. I wouldn't get back to Reading until 10:30. Then I had to be up at 8 to do a session in Fleet that had to kick off at 10. And then
Mm-hmm.
even when I was part time with Crystal Palace,
Right.
having to leave Reading at 2 to get to London 4, and then do an hour and a half session, and then come back, not getting back to Reading until 9:30, 10 o'clock sometimes. And then only Saturday getting ready to either do the game, or, like, when I was playing a little bit for Hartley, and then to having to get ready for that game. It's
Mm-hmm.
so it's the little things like that really really help me to kind of get used to always here. So it's, in my mind, it's kind of regular. So
Mm. From when you started goalkeeping coaching to what you're doing today, how much of that has changed? The I guess the method of the way you train, how much has changed?
I think it was something that was like, it was unbeknownst to me at the time, years ago, when I first started, and when I played. It's like the psychological side of it. So I think, like, um I think, one, you have to be really resilient, and then I think seeing certain pitches and processing certain pitches right away,
Mm-hmm.
which would lead to how you would deal with it. So, like cross, for example, like, you have to process the flight of the ball. You have to process how many people's within the area. If someone's trying to mark you and stop you from getting the ball, things like that. And then, like, effectively, the decision you make, whether you come out for it, or whether you stay, whether you drop into the goal, whether you go punch one hand, 200, one handed, two-handed, whether you go out and catch it. And then, even as far as it goes, what happens after you catch it? Like, do you start a counter attack and things like that? So I think, like, over the last, I want to say, maybe 5 years, I think I'll put a massive emphasis on the psychological part of the game. So I think being resilient, being able to process things right away, and coming up with a solution in a very short space of time. So I think that's the biggest thing for me.
Yeah, with this new rule of 8 seconds, teaching that part, because you have an interpretation of when the goalkeeper has control. Because remember, now the referee decides when
Yeah,
does the
yeah,
goalkeeper have control.
Yeah.
teaching the goalkeepers now to also have to look at the referee to ensure that you know where the county is. How is that going over so far for you?
I think it's nuts. I think we almost got done by that when the women played Loughborough just now. So I think and the referee. So what they do, they don't count out loud from 8. They
Right.
wait until it gets to 5 seconds, and then they put the hand up, and then they start. So very similar to like futsal, for example.
Yes.
And
Yes.
yeah, and it's so many variables to consider, right? Because like I think at the time we were up 1-0, and it was about maybe 15 minutes left. So
Right.
naturally, without that rule, you're going to waste as much time as possible, aren't you? And you're
Yes.
going to let the
Yes.
team walk, and you're going to set up, and you're going to let people breathe and things like that. But then when
Uh-huh.
there's 5 seconds left, you're like, crap, do I roll out to the side back or do I just smash it to the corner flag and all of that? So
Uh-huh.
it's crazy. It's yeah, but I think like it speaks to my last point about like just having to process what's going on and you just make the best decision that you see
Hmm.
fit or a
Right.
solution that you present yourself, and like you just have to stick with it and just do it really.
Right.
So,
Right.
but it's a crazy rule.
Yeah. We've seen the change to the goal kick rule where players can get the ball inside the box, or the defending team can get the ball
Yeah.
inside the box,
Mm-hmm.
but the
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 goal area. Yeah.
the attackers can't come inside the box, and all that nonsense going on.
Yeah.
And they've come up with, I guess, schemes. Coaches have come up with schemes on how to play the ball out of the box, kind of thing. Do you envision that when we come to these 8 seconds now? Or let's put it down to 5 seconds, because once you realize that the referee is, because everybody's got to tune in right away, kind of thing, because time is of the essence now. So do you
Yeah.
see some schemes coming up to assist the goalkeeper with that? Because you got to take the pressure off of the person which
Yeah.
has the ball. There's no time limit on the fullback holding the ball in the corner flag. There's no
Yeah. No,
time.
exactly.
You know what I
Exactly.
mean? But
Yeah.
but so do you see schemes coming up from the goalkeeper's hands to kind of get the ball rolling to attack the opponents?
I think we're gonna find a way, but I think we'll just find a way to kind of like to kind of work around it, because even with the goal kick in regards to the centre backs being able to or sorry, not just the centre backs, but obviously having people inside the goal area with you.
Yes, yes.
You're starting to see a lot now where the centre back just gives it to the goalkeeper, and because it's live, um, the other team may or may not know what to do because it's so many things that you can do now.
Right,
Like
right.
I mean, I posted on my story all the time when a girl is being pressed super high, and he or she puts a
Hmm.
ball just straight over the back line, puts it through the gap, and then they're just throwing goal.
Right.
So I think it it has a lot of ups and has a lot of downs as well. I think most of the downs will probably come from like youth football. So
Right.
like what would a 14-year-old see, especially if they're limited technically, right? So
Yeah.
if you
Yeah.
have a 12-year-old, 13, 14, even if you have a reserve goalie who's not necessarily strong at hitting it 50, 60, 70, 80 yards,
Hmm.
they're going to be really restricted with the choices. So I think that's when it's a bit complicated. But I think once you get to like top, like even the women Euros was a prime example of it,
Right.
where like with England, for example, Hannah Hampton was unbelievable,
Mm.
and you have to be very careful with pressing her high, because she can easily just take a step and smash 70 yards and then
Right.
now scoring, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Versus
Yeah.
versus an under 14 game where by all means you can just press the breath out of the goalie, because they may or may not be efficient in clipping it 30, 40 yards even, right?
Mm.
So yeah, but I mean in regard to ruling, I wouldn't be surprised if they come up with something to try to not necessarily restrict us but limit us. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just in regards to getting the ball rolling and letting time go and stuff like that. I wouldn't be surprised. They've thrown so much at us now that I wouldn't be surprised.
Right. Right. So the women's season kicks off very soon. Am I correct?
Yeah, so we'll have our last friendly on Sunday against Wimbledon, and then we'll
Right.
start our season on the 17th away to Milton Keynes Dons. So very excited for
Okay.
that.
Okay. Well, you're already busy, but you get busier once the season kicks in,
Exactly. Yeah.
especially with
Yeah.
all
Let
the
alone preseason.
yeah, with the travel, with the scheduling and everything that goes on. But I know you can handle it. I just wanted to bring you on and talk a little bit about your new
Yeah.
role,
Yeah.
or your
Appreciate that.
increased role with Queens Park Rangers, and wish you all the best, because you know
Yeah.
it's just steps. Each time you get another notch in your belt, is another step to where you want to be, and obviously getting that license early next year, end of this year, early next year is the top of the line. So yeah,
Mhm.
wish you all the best.
Yeah.
Okay.
Likewise, man. Likewise,
All
man.
right.
Thanks, bro. It's
Okay.
always a pleasure, man. Thank you.
Appreciate it, man. You enjoy the rest of your day. Okay.
Yeah. Same way, man. Thanks a lot.
All righty.